In the beginning, God created beast and man so that both may live in friendship and share dominion over a world of peace. But in the fullness of time, evil men betrayed God's trust, and in disobedience of his holy word, waged bloody wars, not only against their own kind, but against the apes, whom they reduced to slavery. Then God, in his wrath, sent the world a Savior, miraculously born of two apes, who descended upon the earth from Earth's own future. And man was afraid of, for both parent apes possessed the power of speech. Hi, this is Trepacer, and welcome to my tradition of reviewing two movies on Saturday. I apologize for this movie getting up late. I recorded it twice, but of course, my camera's acting wacky, so I gotta record it again for the third time, and hopefully this time it'll stay up. Okay, anyway, I have the two movies that I reviewed. I watched, technically, that would be yesterday. Short Term 12 and 1 hour, excuse me, I'm getting a little loopy now, a 1 hour photo. Okay, we'll start with Short Term 12. Okay, that's the movie that I saw first. Okay, this movie, I saw the trailer for this a few months back. And, okay, this story is about, stars Brie Larson and John Gallagher Jr. right there. And a bunch of really young actors, a bunch of unknowns. And anyway, it's about this 20-something supervising staff for this treatment facility for these young people. And the term short-term 12 is that they can keep them there for up to a year before they have to send them back on their way, either back to their parents, or if they're older than 18, they have to be legally, they can be set free. And a lot of times they say I think they even mentioned in the movie that sometimes we can slip through the cracks. They can get to actually stay a little bit longer than that. But anyway, the story is basically about these two people, their personal lives, and also about the kids that they treat in this facility. Okay, and this is, like I said, an independent movie. Like I said, low. You can tell it's a low budget movie, because there's no real special effects or anything in this. Okay, like I said, Brie Larson who's there. She plays Grace, and John Gallagher Jr. right here, he plays Mason, and they're in a relationship together. Yeah, and also they teach together at this facility. Okay, with a few other young adults with them, and then they have the managing supervisor of the place. Okay, and it tells the story of their relationship and also some of the kids that they encounter at the facility. Okay, specifically, two people they kind of focus on. There's a young teenager that comes to the facility. Her name is Jaden, played by Caitlin Dever. She's been through these facilities before. She's kind of being sent there as a favor from a friend of a friend, is the way her Grace's supervisor explains it to her. Okay, and she has her issues. Okay, and then there's also another resident at the facility. His name is Marcus. He's about to turn 18, and then he's going to be let go because he's of age, so he has to move on. And of course, you can tell Marcus is a young man, of few words and a little anger and stuff. And you can tell he really doesn't want to leave the place. Okay, and there's also like I said, they also get into their personal relationship as well. Okay, and Grace has her own issues from her own background. That she comes from a troubled background herself. Okay, which I don't want to spoil. I'll let you see how that plays out. And also, Grace sort of bonds with Jaden in a way because she kind of sees herself as similar to Jaden, in the way Jaden is growing up, and Jaden has her issues, which I don't want to spoil. But they kind of bond because they kind of have drawing together. That's their kind of thing. So they kind of bond together, and like I said, this movie specifically shows Grace and Jaden bonding together and stuff, and the things that happen to Jaden, how it affects Grace and her relationship with Mason as well. And Mason is also a foster kid as well, that they show in the movie with him celebrating the anniversary of his foster parents. So that's you can tell Grace and Mason, they have similar similar interests and stuff, with the foster system and stuff. So that's how they kind of bond and have their relationship, and then they show you actually their relationship as well, and they have their issue in their relationship as well. Okay, like I said, I just want to say is you have really great performances by the young cast in this movie, really emotional, and you really feel for them watching this movie. And this movie is really well written and well directed and more realistic. Okay, and it's not predictable the way you think it's going to turn out. Okay, and it's one of the best dramas I've seen this year. This movie came out last year, and like I said, I think it won a Best Picture in the film festival, the San Francisco Film Society. I think that's named it winner of Best Picture. Okay, but it's a really good movie. Again, Brie Larson as Grace is really good. So is John Gallagher Jr. as Mason, and again the young actresses and actors that play the residents of the school, are really good as well. But specifically Caitlin Dever as Jaden, and also Keith Stanfield as Marcus. And it's a really good movie. I would give this movie an 8 out of 10. Definitely see this movie. It's really good, a really good drama. Now, this next movie is 1 Hour Photo. I had, a lot of people had recommended this movie, and I saw a lot of people reviewing this movie, and so I decided to get it. This is Robin Williams. This movie came out in 2010. Not 2010. What was it? 2002. I'm sorry. I'm a little loopy. Okay. Came out in 2010. I'm going to say it again. 2010. No, 2002. Okay. And it's basically about an employee of a 1 Hour Photo Lab. I think it's a Save Mart is what that's where the photo lab is in. Because he basically, Robin Williams becomes he becomes obsessed with this one family, and he kind of sees himself as a kind of an uncle to the family. His name is Cy. They call him in the movie Cy Parrish. You can tell he's a middle-aged man who's lonely. Doesn't has no family, and he has no family, and he's lonely. And like I said, he attaches himself. He kind of sees himself as part of this family because he's been doing the. You have this family. You have Nina Yorkin, played by Connie Nielsen, Michael Vartan, played by who plays Will Yorkin, and then Dylan Smith, who plays Jacob Yorkin. And ever since the young son Jacob, was a little baby until the time he's like a young, about 6 or 7, I think. They've been taking photos and getting it developed there, and all this time, Cy has been making extra copies, and you can even see in his apartment he has copies of the pictures of the family all throughout the years, and he kind of considers himself as kind of an uncle to the family, and he kind of goes out of his way to try to kind of bond with the family. Like if he sees the mother, if she's reading a book in her bag, he buys the book as well so he can have something to talk to her about when she comes to pick up her photos, or when he accidentally runs into her in the mall somewhere. And he also goes to young Jacob's soccer games to watch them. And like I said, he becomes obsessed with this one family. And Robin Williams gives an incredibly creepy performance. I mean, it's subtle, but it's all the time at the same time really creepy. And this whole movie has a certain kind of vibe to it. Excellent, direction by and written by the same person, Mark Ronick. He does a really good job with this movie. Like I said, you can feel there's a kind of a sense of menace throughout the movie, and every scene that Robin Williams is in, it's sort of like you kind of there's a certain tension to it, and you kind of wait to see what happens. And again, very greatly acted by Robin Williams. And like I said, there comes a point in the movie where Cy, his boss, who actually tends to know, starts to notice that Cy, that the numbers doesn't match up from the photos they sell to what it says on the counter, because of course Cy is making these extra copies of photos, okay, and then he basically winds up firing him, which also sets off another course of events that happens later in the movie. And it's a really, really good movie and really great performance by Robin Williams. He especially creepy. I'm surprised he didn't get nominated. Maybe the Academy thought the movie was too creepy, but I thought Robin Williams was really, really good in this. He just really, he really played his part real well, and you definitely have to see this movie. And just like I said, the whole atmosphere of the movie, the whole setting of it, the whole vibe of the movie is creepy and gets you on edge. Okay, and definitely give 1 Hour Photo an 8 out of 10. Definitely worth seeing. Okay, and also again, Short Term 12, an 8 out of 10. Really well written and directed and acted by the young cast. And definitely, I give it an 8 out of 10. Totally worth seeing. Short Term 12, really good movie and good performance by the cast and excellently written and directed. Okay, so if you've seen these movies, let me know what you think. And hopefully, third time's a charm. This will tape. And this is Trepacer saying so long and take care.